No way this just happened, as this game was so bad, it revealed such a harsh, devastating truth that Darko Rajakovic had to give a very, very animated, fired up reaction. I mean, I'll play it twice. Darko's out here ready to kick referees, ready to fight. He is more fired up than we saw him last year with Scottie Barnes. He had that tirade post-game, but yes, the referees were bad, but really, what instigated this, and why Toronto Raptors fans, even the ones that are happy, that are pursuing the tank, trying to capture the flag, all these types of things. Tonight's game was it sent a clear message to Toronto Raptors fans about one thing that this team cannot part ways with, or if they do, there needs to be a clear and quick plan to really fix things as soon as it happens. So we'll discuss that and this overall Toronto Raptors loss to the Memphis Grizzlies in this game. But before we do, we have a very exciting announcement. This video is brought to you by Rentals.ca, who are proud partners of Team Canada. While they've been supporting our national team defend their home court in international competitions, they've been helping thousands of Canadians find their home court all across the country. Whether you're in Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, Calgary, Halifax, Winnipeg, Mississauga, Edmonton, Victoria, St. John's, from coast to coast, Rentals.ca helps you find the perfect place and price for you. Their website is clean and it's extremely easy to use. You can pinpoint exactly on the map where you're interested in moving, and Rentals.ca will help you find the perfect destination. Whether it's a house, apartment, a condo, whatever the heck it is, Rentals.ca has you covered. So check them out in the pinned comment as well as the description down below. Shout out to Rentals.ca for supporting our national team, for supporting this channel for a very long time, even during these stretches where the Toronto Raptors have had some heartbreaking losses, but most importantly, for supporting thousands of Canadians all across the country. I mean it. Check them out down below. But the Toronto Raptors just had a game. They just had a very, a game that has a lot of people pretty fired up. And I'm going to keep playing this video this time because Darko was not having a single second of what was going on out here tonight in this game. Got thrown out, got ejected. It was like a WWE kind of exit, leaving through, felt like the stands kicked out the tunnel. It was just madness, but for good reason, because tonight was a brutal, brutal loss for the Toronto Raptors. I mean, we can take a look at the stats in terms of what happened. The Grizzlies came out and scored 155 points. No way. We just saw the Memphis Grizzlies come out and do this to us, right? The Raptors did score a few themselves, right? Not the Chicago Bulls. The Raptors out here at 126 points, but frankly, this game was just not good. It was not good, and the clear sign, the clear direction, the clear takeaway from this one, not Scottie Barnes having a good game, RJ Barrett, we'll talk about those guys, but really the fact that when Jakob Poeltl's not in the lineup, when he is not on the roster, and Kelly Olynyk's great, right? He's a great sort of spot filling center and stuff. I had decent plus minus in this game and all that, but without Jakob Poeltl, the Toronto Raptors have an absolutely atrocious, devastating, absolutely abysmal defense. And this goes back to last year. It goes back to previous seasons. When the Raptors don't have a true anchoring defensive center, the defense is just cooked. And we saw it the entire game tonight. The entire game, the Raptors were just getting cooked out there on the defensive end. And frankly, whoever the heck it was, I mean, everyone came out. Zach Edey, in his return home, had 21 points, 16 boards, just dominated down low in terms of being an effective scorer. Knocked down a 3 as well to start off this game, which is cool. He's firing up 5 threes, which is mad. But 21 points for JJJ. Desmond Bane at 19. John Morant at 24 minutes at 15 points. I mean, Jalen Wells, interesting young guy, but he had 17, but 15 off the bench, 11 for Brandon Clark, Canadian, and Aldama didn't even have to, well, he didn't play a ton of minutes, but he was on my fantasy team for a while, so disappointed out there in that, but man, that's just rough. That is just rough. That is a rough outing, a rough game for the Toronto Raptors here at this one. And that's the reality of what's going on with this Raptor squad, because everyone's looking for trades. Everyone's looking at what the Toronto Raptors are going to do ahead of this year's sort of trade deadline. But, build around Scottie Barnes, build around RJ Barrett. And these guys had some solid numbers, had some solid games. But really, in terms of what these guys are going to be doing out here ahead of this year's trade deadline, I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be looking like Darko Rajakovic right now. If, not even if we trade Jakob Poeltl at the deadline and then we lose a ton of games. So again, the losses are going to pile up this season. The Raptors are trying to capture a flag. They've been open about that. But if we go into next year trying to compete, trying to contend, or just not have as horrible of a season as we've had this season, if we do that and we don't have Jakob Poeltl, or we don't have a competent center to anchor the defense on this Raptors squad, That will be a very, very bad idea for the Raptors. The defense just is hopeless. It is lost. It is just it doesn't even exist when Jakob Poeltl's out of the lineup, so we cannot have that. I will be pretty fired up there right now if that's the case. If that's the team that we have to deal with going to next year. Again, I'm jumping the gun, but these are the decisions. The Raptors are in a position right now where they need to make some decisions, decide some stuff, going into the trade deadline, prep for this upcoming season. And Sean said a report that we'll break down tomorrow about the Raptors being sellers, but they sell off of Jakob Poeltl. That is going to be bad, and we're going to see more games like Darko Rajakovic kicking referees, fired up, getting mad and instigated at these guys. But at least Darko's fired up. I'm sure he's going to have a wild post-game quote that is probably happening right now. But I don't know. Very, very insane stuff there on the defensive end for the Toronto Raptors. Nice to see Zach Edey have a big performance out there in return home again. I've been a big Zach Edey guy. I've wanted him on the Toronto Raptors for a while and stuff. But we did have a few Canadians playing this game. AJ Lawson got some late minute runs and had two buckets. 3. That's good to see. Out there, Chris Boucher had a solid performance. This one, 21 points. But really, the two guys that played really well for the Toronto Raptors in this one on the offensive end, at least. Really, Ochai, Gradey Dick, Scottie Barnes, RJ Barrett all had solid offensive performances. The team is hopeless on the defensive end without Yak, but those 4 guys had a solid offensive stretch. Scottie Barnes had 26 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists. RJ Barrett had a near triple-double with 27 points, barely played at the end of the game as well, so 10 assists, 9 rebounds. You had Ochai Agbaji doing his thing out there, missed a ton of threes. Gradey Dick missed their threes, which, it is what it is. But I thought all 4 of the key rotation pieces played pretty solid out there in this one. The disappointing thing about this loss as well is we didn't see many of the rookies. We did see Battle and Mogbo, of course. I felt like we didn't see Mogbo because he went 1 for 7 in the field. But really, no Shed, no Jacoby Walter. They've been the 2 real interesting guys as of late for this Raptor squad. So it's been a little bit heartbreaking to see all the injuries still pile up for this Raptors group. We're not sure what's happening with Bruce Brown. We're not sure what's happening with a bunch of guys. Immanuel Quickley in terms of the latest updates, in terms of everything that's going on. But holy smokes, that was abysmal. It was cool to see a bunch of Canadians playing this game, though. Kelly Olynyk, as I mentioned, AJ Lawson. You did have Chris Boucher. You had Brandon Clark. You had Zach Edey. So it's nice to see a lot of Toronto Raptors, goodness gracious, Canadians out there in the NBA still picking up. And Zach Edey, man, he looks good. People were bashing me. People were roasting me, saying not to get Edey, not to draft him, and if he fell to 19. And Jacoby Walter's great, so I'm not disappointed in our draft selection. Edey went 9th, so it's far out of reach. Even though there was rumors he might fall to the Toronto Raptors, but Zach Edey, he's been good, and he's shooting a ton of threes now, which is insane to see. But he is a big man. He's an unstoppable force when he's underneath the basket. So I don't know, good stuff there for Zach Edey, this young squad. But let me know what you guys think about this Raptors team, about this game. Like, no way we just gave up that historically of a bad loss. But I don't know, you guys best take this far. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. I'm signing out. Cheers.